Hi, I am Maria Brooks. I am a platform to ascension. What does that mean? I am a holy shaman, an ascended master, a spiritual teacher, and a healer. But that wasn't me before the age of 42. I'm 72 now, so this journey has been ongoing for 30 years. I feel it is necessary to share some of these mystical stories now, because so many of us are at a stage in our lives when we are evolving into a greater aspect of ourselves. But I'd like to share my stories to show how this has all come about. So, as I said, the story began when I was 42 consciously, and I'm 72 now. I want to introduce a video that I made in 2008, but it was never shown, probably because at that time I was losing my own sense of self. I was falling into a great abyss of unhappiness and self-rejection because I couldn't find meaning to my life. I had everything that I wanted. I had a career as a school teacher. I had a lovely home, children, husband, holidays, and yet nothing was fulfilling me. I want to introduce a video from 2008 showing how angels came into my life at that point and began to teach me my trade, and that was to become eventually a holy shaman. But the story began, I suppose, at my birth. My mother had me down to be a Susan, but when my father entered the bedroom, he heard a voice telling him she is to be called Maria, and that's how I got my name in the first place. But the first time I actually saw an angel, I was 15. I was in bed and I had been praying to Jesus to guide me as to whether to become a member of Latter-day Saints Church, the Mormons, or to stay with the Methodists. And it was a very serious request from me, because my father had started to dissuade me away from the Mormon Church. So I was in bed, I heard this voice. I was asleep, and the voice said, please sit up, somebody very important is coming to see you. So I sat in my bed, I looked across at the bedroom door, which was closed, but I could see right through the door, I could see right through the house, I could see out into the universe, and something was coming very, very fast. I knew how fast it was traveling because of how much time it took to actually slow down outside the house. In those days, we didn't have Star Wars, we had puppets creating a space scene. So the idea of warp speed wasn't even in my head. Anyway, it stopped outside. This ball of light came through the door, and it stopped a few feet away from me. Suddenly it opened up into a ball of fire, just like the old pictures in the Bible. And but there was no heat from it, it was just light. And in this space stood two presences. One was Jesus, and behind him stood the angel Gabriel, white with feathers, just there to support and protect Jesus. And Jesus spoke to me telepathically. And way back then, at the age of 15, you know, we didn't really know what telepathy was. And so I thought, wow, he has just spoken to me without moving his lips. And he said, hello, Maria, you've been asking me a question. I was extremely embarrassed because it seemed such a stupid question to have such an important person come and visit me. And I answered, and amazingly, I answered telepathically to him. And I said, yes, Jesus, I want to know if I should become a Mormon or stay with the Methodist Church. And Jesus said to me, there are many religions in this world, and he named them all. And the only ones I knew at 15 were Catholics and Protestants. And maybe I'd heard the word Jews too, but I didn't consider it as a religion. And he told me that all religions, the essence of all religions was the same source, that of God, shall we say. But religions had evolved through man and man's rules. And rules did serve a purpose. Strict rules helped many people to keep on the straight and narrow. But he told me that I was a strong person and rules would actually hold me back from knowing the truth. So he advised that I stay with the Methodists, just enjoy the singing and the youth club, and in the future he would come and teach me the meaning of life. And he said he did not want me to worry about that. He would find me, and it would be in the future. He reiterated that it would be in the future, and then he, told me to go back to sleep, and that's exactly what I did. There's more to the story, but I won't say that now. So at 42, this is when he came back into my life. And he came back into my life because I asked for help. I did not know what to do anymore. And so I threw the towel in and I said, God, if you can do any better, you better show me. And my life started to change. This video that I want to show from 2008 will show how angels came into my life and started to teach me what I know today. I was already healing with 3 spirit guides. The first one who came to teach me was an Asian Indian man, and I suffered very, very badly with a chronic back illness, and he came to teach me about backs and movement and many other things. The second one who introduced herself was a kind of physiotherapist, and she looked like a young Italian lady. And the third guide that began to teach me was a Chinese Mandarin, dressed all in green, and he would mix potions, and this was all part of my healing until the angels came into play. Of course, in the first place, I didn't know that they were going to be teaching me, but one of the ways that they began to teach me was they would touch my body, and so I would touch the person I was giving healing to, and they would touch me somewhere else and I would touch them. This is still the way I work now, except as I got the idea that they were wanting me to touch the different body parts, they speeded this up So it almost became a joke in the end, until I got the idea, and then I was gliding my hands around the body to the necessary parts. So that's how I began my technique, if you like. And another aspect of this development was I was guided to buy a picture which would turn out to be a living picture. It would draw me in. And I remember working in my healing room, and this picture would pull me in. And right in the center, I then realized that it was a picture of the woods, and right in the center, I realized the light was the shape of an angel. And so I began to go through this, which was really a vortex to the other side. And that allowed something to come this way towards me. So when I was healing, I began to see in the distance a tiny shape. The tiny shape grew into an angel, and over time, finally, there in front of me was an angel, which I then understood was myself. And when I understood this was my higher self presence, being presented in angel form, I was asked to claim my healing as this higher self. I didn't want to do that. I was more than happy to have the angels take responsibility for what I was doing, but at some point I was asked to go further, and this is what I did. There's another story as to the name of this angel presence, which became known as Solar Angelica. But in the first place, when they were first teaching me, I came to the understanding that my higher self presence was Solar Polara. And Solar Polara, I like that. Oh yes, I am Solar Polara. And I was quite happy to kind of grow into Solar Polara. But then the name changed and it became Solar Polaris. So now I'm really confused, and I'm thinking, I'm making all this up. Where am I getting this nonsense from? But there was Solar Polaris, Solar Polaris. So I worked for a little while as Solar Polaris, and suddenly the two aspects, I realized one was the feminine aspect and the other was the masculine. And once I came to this understanding, the two united, and the unified name became Solar Angelica. And then for quite a while, it didn't change. And so people would call me either Maria or Solar Angelica, whatever they liked. And it would take a little while longer for Mary Magdalene to start showing herself. And then that's another story, as Solar Angelica ascended and made room for the greater presence, which is Mary Magdalene. Anyway, the video, 2008, hopefully this will, I don't know, make your, open your mind to a different spiritual part of your life, as it did mine. Hello, my name is Maria Brooks. My angelic name is Solar Angelica. I'd like to explain how angels came into my life. They arrived when my mother was seriously ill with cancer. I'd been giving healing for quite some time with 3 guides, but something changed at this particular point. At first I thought that my guides had left me, But then something alerted me to the fact that there was something else there. The problem was, for me at that point, was that the energy was so fine, it was very, very difficult for me to latch onto. And when I perhaps realised that there was somebody else there, I said, if there's anybody there, please answer me. And straight away, these names came out: Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Jophiel, Archangel Shaman, Archangel Zadkiel. And then there was a pause, followed by Mary, a pause, followed by Jesus. At that point, I was pretty blown away, and I said, if I've heard right, you're going to have to repeat that. And straight away, there were those names again. Now, I'd always believed in Mary and always believed in Jesus. I knew the Archangel Gabriel from the Christmas story, but to be honest, I wasn't sure at that point if I actually believed that there were such things as angels. And so I said to them, if you are real, if you are there, you're going to have to prove it. And of course, with all of these things, almost immediately, the proof started to come. There isn't time to explain that now, but perhaps if you'd like to go to the website or read my book, Hello Mum, Are You in Heaven Yet? It will explain how things evolved for me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for visiting my home. And perhaps we'll meet again in the future. Thank you for watching. I hope you have heard something that might intrigue you to look further. I hope that you have learnt something possibly that may clarify your own journey. I hope there will be something here that will encourage you on this journey, because it is very, very worthwhile. In later videos, I want to talk more about the light body and where you will arrive, which will give you such a sense of freedom and joy and peace and happiness, and lead you to instant manifestation. That's a whole other story, isn't it? But really, what this story is about, it is about the story of Mary Magdalene's descent to earth. Jesus began this journey. He gave us the portal to go into the heavens. Mary Magdalene has continued this journey now into the earth, and so this is allowing us a two-way situation, which is actually bringing heaven to earth ultimately. So her journey is your journey, it's my journey, it is who I am, and it will become who you are, which will ultimately lead to an understanding of the divine feminine aspect of God. And I am not saying divine women here. This is a journey for both the men and male and female, but it is a divine aspect of the self, and it will be not a kingdom on earth perhaps, but it may become known in the future as the queendom aspect of our journey. So we are uniting God and the goddess. If you want to know more about the early development of myself as a shaman, but it is also a journey of love, a story of love. You can buy my book, Hello Mum, Are You in Heaven Yet?, on my Etsy shop. And I do intend to make this new website more available with stories to show the journey. You will find your way to the website and the Etsy shop linked in the description below.